Buddy Mudford here. Today I'm doing a little bit of insulating in my attic with this styrofoam. I have some recessed lighting that you're not supposed to put insulation around, so I'm losing a lot of heat around that. I've switched it to the LED bulbs and it does not get real hot. What I'm planning on doing is building an enclosure out of that styrofoam, gluing it together, taping it, and putting that over the lights, and then I'll be able to put some insulation over top of that. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I've got the squares cut to the size I need, so I have some of this paneling foam adhesive. It's important to get this because some of the other construction adhesives can actually eat the styrofoam up. Just going to run a bead of it. I'm going to go ahead and get it taped up a little bit now and put a top on it. Okay, got a sturdy little insulated box now. Okay, so I'm up here in the attic now. I'm going to try to show you how bad it was. This is what it looks like right now. There's the drywall. There's where the light is. You can see no insulation around there. And there's an open spot around the vent fan, and the same thing around the other light over there. So here's where I had to do the trimming on the one side. I'll show you why. For that line there with the wire and that raised piece right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on now. Try to clean it out a little bit. Should fit right. Fits pretty snug on there. And that should help insulate us pretty good. And then now I can put some fiberglass around it. I've got to make one more and should be good. So I have to build the second box now, put it on down there. Okay, I got the second box done and in place and insulation stuffed around it. This isn't that thick of insulation. I think it's only R19 in the attic. So what I did was I grabbed a few rolls of this to get started here. This is some R30, so this will help out a lot. That'll take us up to R49 total. So we're going to go ahead and unroll. This is just a roll of unfaced fiberglass. I'm just going to roll it out, starting out at the outside edge and roll one roll and see how far I get to the middle. Right now I have boards on top of the rafters across the middle where we have some storage. So I'm just going to do both outsides right now, and then I'm going to have to pull the plywood out and put some kind of a other boards on top to raise the plywood up, because it's going to have to go up 9 inches. It's going to give us a little less headroom, but it's going to be a lot nicer. One more easy fix for insulation is stairs. Most of them aren't insulated, so you have a huge spot in your ceiling with no insulation. So you can see right there I have a 1/4 inch board, and that's the only thing stopping the heat from going up in that whole huge area there. So what we're going to do today is drill these rivets out. There's 6 of them. There's 3 spots where it goes across and is fastened. We're going to drill all those out, and we're going to put some spacer boards in to bring this ladder up a little bit. What we're going to end up with, right now we're at 3/4 of an inch off of the board here. We're going to be a total of 2 inches off. I have some 1-inch styrofoam. We're going to double layer it and put it in here to give us a little bit of insulation here. Okay, here's my board that was in there. Here's the additional board I'm going to put in. You can see they're just about the same length, close to the same width. I'm just going to go ahead and clamp these together and drill my holes all the way through. And then I'm going to slip it back in place, and then put some new longer carriage bolts and nuts in it. I'm just going to stick a washer on now. And a nut. Not going to bother tightening these up yet. I'm going to be drilling out the rivets on this end. There's an extra one in the middle here. This is where the hinge is, so you got to be really careful doing this. I'm going to go ahead and get started. There's one out. I'm going to go ahead and get the middle brackets out so that I can get this wood panel to drop down a little bit so I can get all of my boards in. I got all the rivets drilled out now along the hinge plate, and I also got the other 2 in the middle. So what happens is the ladder wants to spring forward because of the whole spring system here. The top wants to come forward. So what I did was I just propped a board in here now and temporarily. So I'm going to drill my other board out just like I did the first time, fit it all in there, and then start getting my pieces through. And then hopefully I can pull that board out and then drill it out to go in its spot down here in the middle. But just be very cautious because you got a lot of spring tension if you're doing this. So here's my 3-inch, 1/4 inch carriage bolts I got to run through. Starting with, I'll probably go through the outer board, through the hinge, and then through my new boards that I cut. And that'll help get 2 things lined up, and then I can add then I can get the ladder in place hopefully after that. So now I need to go ahead and get all these bolts tightened up. When you bring those up, it changes the whole dynamic. It changes the whole dynamic of the spring. That curled part right there comes down too far and hits before it's closed. So I took the springs loose with the door closed. You have to go up in there and close it and then unhook the springs. Springs will unhook from those holes very easily when you have the door shut and the ladder up. So what I did was I went up into the attic and had my wife shut the door. I disconnected both springs, and then nothing holds the door up. So then she lowered the door back down. So my plan now is to remove those plates and move them up. So that way when it's swung around and the door is closed, that part right there, when it swings around closed, it won't hit the wood. So I'm going to raise it up maybe an inch or so and see how that works. Okay, we ended up having to adjust those up a couple inches. There's 2 screws there, and then we're going to have to mount a piece of wood and put the other 2 screws into a piece of wood that's going to be screwed down on top. And then it should work pretty good. I measured the first piece and got it slid in there. The top one is really tricky for me because I'm in a hallway. I have a wall on each side. So I had to put the piece in and kind of bend it, and it split. But when you push it back in place, it goes right back together. The next piece has to be a little smaller on the edges here. The other one was 20, this one's 17, because if you can see right there, the springs are going to set right there. So there's not quite enough room to do 2 inches of styrofoam where the spring's going to set. I'm going to go ahead and slide this in. See if we can slide it in place. It fits pretty good in here. And this, like I said, the spring will set right here on each side. Much easier. Fits right in place. Second piece in. I'm just using this 1-inch stuff because it's what I had. It was left over, so it was essentially free. The only thing I had to buy for this whole project was the carriage bolts, which were around 10 cents each. So I spent probably less than $1 on this whole project, and this should help quite a bit. It fit the last 5-inch by 20-inch piece in, well, 2 pieces. Use some Gorilla Tape to hold them in.